Welcome to Inspiring Insurance. Our goal is to provide value to the insurance industry through real-life experiences from insurance professionals who have walked the walk. You can expect to hear story sharing, top tips, and practical advice to help you grow and succeed in your career. We hope you enjoy this episode's guest. Welcome back to Inspiring Insurance, episode number 20. Today we're back in Brisbane. We're also back at Stellar Insurance Brokers. Today I'm joined by Rachael Hirsch, who is a senior account manager, has been in the industry for 14 years. How are you doing, Rachael?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Spring weather, I can't complain at all. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a guest. There's lots to dive into today. You've recently been named a finalist for NEBA's Young Insurance Broker of the Year. So really, really exciting. Keen to pick your brain around that. But I'd love to start off by understanding what made you choose insurance as the career.
Oh, what made me choose it? I didn't choose it, but I'm glad that it is the path that I found. I didn't even know what an insurance broker was when I started my journey. My sister worked in HR at one of the big internationals, and they were just looking for someone fresh and young and with no knowledge to kind of join the ranks just as a bit of a broker support type person. And my name got mentioned as a bit of a joke, and that somehow led to me getting interviewed and starting my career. So at the time, like I said, I didn't even know what an insurance broker was. I remember my sister being in HR was kind of trying to prep me for my interview and all the things that I should know, and was like, look on their website, understand who they are, what they do, and it was still kind of all over my head and didn't really understand, but started there, grew to love it, got some qualifications early on, and then unfortunately got made redundant, as it happens in big business, structures change and all that fun stuff. And then started a role at what was YIB back in that day and who has now become Stellar, and been there ever since and loving it. So I wouldn't change it for the world. It's something that, was just a bit of a coincidence that I ended up here, but I'm super grateful that I did, for sure.
Yeah, how good. And what was the first role? What were you doing?
First role at YB, or at the very first job?
Very first insurance role. What were you doing?
Very first. So I think I was titled like broker support, and I was literally just a bit of a paper pusher, like cleaning up files, doing endorsements here and there, like not a whole lot from like a insurance broking perspective, just there as a support person for the brokers that were in the team, just to help do a bit of admin and things like that. I wouldn't say I learned a whole lot in that part of my career. It was only a very short stint. And then when I moved over, again, in a broker support role, just a support person for one of the brokers in the team. And that kind of started my path of building up my knowledge, helping to understand all the different risks and stuff like that, all the different clientele. Like at Stella, we've got a very broad range of clients, so it helped me to just delve a little bit deeper and see all aspects. Like when I was at the other place, I was just in the corporate team, so you kind of just did your standard kind of property policies and things like that. But this job at Stella kind of gave me all different aspects, which was nice.
Yeah, nice. What's the biggest thing that you learned from that initial broker support role 14 years ago, which still resonates with you today?
Oh, biggest thing I learned. Oh, that's a tough one. I think it was a little bit of a reality check. Like I was fresh out of school. Like I said, didn't know anything about what a broker even was, all the complexities that come with, the corporate world and things like that. So it helped me grow a lot as a person, as an adult, having those extra responsibilities that I needed. Getting made redundant at a, first big job was a bit of a shell shock, and again, a little bit of a reality check, just to be like, this is what happens, this is life, and you have to grow and learn and move on to the next thing and create something new and great out of it. So at the time, I remember being super upset about it, felt like my world was crashing. But in hindsight, it was one of the best things to ever happen to me. and it led me on the path that I am now, and super, super grateful to be where I am. So, yeah, I think it was just a bit of a life lesson that sometimes you go through tough times, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's something to be learned from. So grateful for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess it like instills that resilience piece into you as well, which you need as an insurance broker. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good little first lesson. What's
Yeah, for sure.
what's kept you in the industry for so long?
I just love that every day is so different. It's something like you can never know everything. It's just even people that have been around for 40, 50 years, it's impossible to know everything that's going on. It keeps your brain busy, it keeps the day moving. And I just find it super rewarding to be there alongside businesses that have worked, like people that have worked so hard to build up something that they love and care for so much, and to be a part of that, to help protect them and give them some reassurance that if something goes wrong, that they have that protection in place. And I want them to feel like I'm part of their business too, and that they, yeah, I guess, feel that level of protection. They have that trust in someone that they're doing the right thing by them. And it's just super rewarding in that respect. It keeps, look, there's tough days for sure. And there's challenges that come with it, but it's just that level of reward that you get from the client at the end of the day that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, nice. Do you have any examples or any stories about providing really, really great service or risk coverage to a client that's resulted in something really, really rewarding for you?
I'm sure there's probably lots of examples, but well, I'd hope there is anyway, if I'm doing the right job. I had a client, like just I think end of last year, that has lots of policies with us, has unfortunately not always had the best claims history, just from a sequence of unfortunate events. Um, and there's been a few claims that he's had that were very, um, they could have ended his business, if he wasn't properly insured. That it could have been done for him. And I think about this time last year, I was doing his renewal. He's got quite a few policies due. And at the time, I was able to like find some alternative options that gave some premium relief, also negotiated some good premium relief from the current insurers, and ultimately ended up saving him about $40,000 in premium. Which the response I got from him was that he'd just been told that his rent was being put up by a similar amount, and it was obviously not an expense that he'd budgeted for. So it gave him that reassurance that he could afford that extra expense, and seeing his premiums go down despite the losses and stuff that he had was rewarding for him, to be able to combat that extra rent expense that he incurred. So it's always nice, particularly with those clients that you've had for a really long time and they've gone through some really tough times. And particularly in the years that we've had where premiums have been skyrocketing, and some businesses just can simply not afford it anymore, to be able to get that sort of relief for him, so he could not feel the pinch so much. That was super rewarding.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. How would you, if you had a new broker to the industry and you were trying to educate them on how to save their clients in premium, what sort of strategy would you have in place, or how would you educate them on doing so?
I think one of the key important roles of being a broker is the relationships that we have, not just with our clients, but also with all the insurers and underwriting agencies and stuff like that. You rely on those relationships to be able to negotiate to get the best possible outcome. And look, I'm not here to find the cheapest premium. I'm here to find the best cover for the client. Sometimes that generates a cheaper premium, which is fantastic, but it's not always the case. But you want to be able to rely on that relationship to get you that positive outcome. Otherwise, you kind of just get put into a bit of a pool of being another person that calls that insurer when they've had 20 phone calls in a day and they're just sick of talking to people. If they know who you are, they tend to go above and beyond to, get you the outcome that you're looking for. So for a new broker coming in, I think it's important to, get out there, network, meet people face to face, have those phone conversations with them. It's not always about emailing back and forth, like get on the phone, arrange a catch up to meet in person, all that sort of stuff, so that person that you call on that day where you need to negotiate a premium, when you need to get cover on a risk that is a bit complicated or something like that, they're more likely to put in the time to help you when they know who you are than to just kind of fob you off to the next job sort of thing. So I think that's super important.
Yeah, for sure. And so the relationship piece alongside that is very, very, very important. And I feel with your tenure at Stellar, that relationships and loyalty is very important to you. What's kept you with the business for so long? Because you've had a really great tenure. We see people moving around less than every 2 years in the industry. What's kept you with Stellar for so long?
Stella's my other family away from home. I've learned everything that I know while I've been here, and it's like very much thanks to Mike and Kirsty, who've been here since I started 13 years ago. They've taught me everything that I know. They've always been super supportive on my journey. They're literally like another family. Mike's like another dad. Kirsty's like a sister to me. Like, they make coming to work every day that little bit easier because of that. I want to stay, loyal to them because of that reason. And also too, like, you want to get something rewarding out of the job that you do every day, and you want to do it with a team of people that are there to support you, and you support them. And I've always had that feeling whilst being here, and that's not always the case wherever you go. So yeah, that's what's kept me around. I've also, I struggle a lot with my own personal confidence. Have a lot of imposter syndrome, unfortunately, that likes to bite me in the butt. And Kirsty in particular has always been there, always cheering me on, always supporting me and telling me I can do the things that my brain likes to tell me that I can't. So I owe a lot to her for all the love and support that she's given me throughout my career. And you don't get that from all your employers, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's so nice. And I think just having that support there, particularly when that imposter syndrome creeps in, is just so important, because a lot of people would say, no, this is too hard, and throw in the towel. You obviously push through that. What's something that you do when you have that imposter syndrome creep in? How do you overcome that kind of mental state?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever overcome it.
Never goes away. So.
I try to quiet the voice a little bit. I don't know. Look, it's something that challenges me literally every single day. And some days are better than others. Just a lot of self-doubt that goes through my head. Something that I do to make it better. Again, I think it comes down to the people that you've got around you, right? Like, yeah, it's one thing to have that thought in your head that's telling you you're not good enough or you're not doing the right thing. But at the same time, I have a bunch of incredible people around me that are always cheering me on and telling me that I'm doing a great job, or that come to me to ask me questions. And I feel like that kind of gives me a little bit of edge to be like, you know what, I actually know what I'm talking about here. Like, it's okay. You're not faking it till you make it. You're actually doing it right. So yeah, having that community around you, it's helped me a lot. Like I said, something I'm still very much trying to overcome, and I don't know if it'll ever go away, but it's definitely got a lot better because of the team that I have around me.
Yeah, amazing. And they've obviously supported you a lot this year to go on to be named a finalist for NIBA's Young Broker of the Year. What does that mean to you personally? What does that mean to you professionally?
It means a lot. Again, particularly from the imposter syndrome side of things, just to kind of bite it in the butt a little bit to reassure myself that I'm doing the right things. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, it was a lot. It was very overwhelming to become a finalist and very recognised for such a prestigious award. Like, it's nationwide. So that was super rewarding, and I'm so very thankful to have gotten to where I am. It's given me the drive and the opportunity to pursue bigger and better things, and to keep pushing on and keep reassuring myself that, I deserve to be a finalist, and I deserved to have that sort of recognition, and all the hard work pays off, and some days are harder than others, but yeah, it was rewarding from that sense for sure.
Yeah, amazing. You should be very proud. Like, I agree with you. You should really be proud. It's a very, very
Thank
big.
you.
No worries.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How do you think the role of the insurance broker has changed, especially with technology and client expectations? I'm going to say 14 years ago, things were very, very different to how they are now. What do you think that transition has looked like, and where do you see, I guess, the challenges of the broker going?
It's very, like, compared to 14 years ago, it's obviously very technology driven, compared to what it was back then. Like, I know you'd kind of, when a client's policy was coming up for renewal, you'd call each and every client and review their policy with them over the phone and stuff like that. Whereas these days, some people just don't want to talk to you on the phone, and they'll say, send me an email or something to that effect. Some people don't even want to look at their stuff. And you kind of just juggle that per client. But technology's changed, in regards to, how we get quotes, how we get information from insurers, even how we communicate with insurers. It's all very different compared to what it was back then. And it does make things a bit challenging. I guess, from the respect of trying to not retain clients, but trying to show your value to clients. Because, a lot of people, particularly after the few years that we've had where premiums are going up so much, and the cost of living is a struggle, and small businesses are struggling and stuff like that. Trying to show your value, particularly for clients that, haven't had a claim and haven't seen that perspective of things. It's extra challenging when there's so much competition with, like, the direct market, not so much with other brokers, because again, they're fighting the same battle, right? But there's so many direct insurers out there that are spruiking that, we can offer the best price and we can do all these great, grand things for you, but not actually giving the clients any sort of advice around what they need, what protections they should have in place, any risk management and things like that. So I think that's where we add value, and where a lot more brokers should be putting in that extra time to show that value. It's not just about the price. Yeah, sure, people want to save premium, keep their costs low and stuff like that, but that can sometimes bite you in the butt when you have a claim. And that sort of education is really important, and that's what us as a broker, like, people are paying us to give them advice and to get them the appropriate insurances and help with their risk management and stuff like that. So if we're not doing that, then what value are we providing?
Sure. What do you think, without giving away all of your secret sauce, what do you think one of the top value adds that you can give when you're giving a presentation to a client would be?
Top value adds. I think I said early in the piece, like, I want clients to feel like I'm part of their business. They've worked really hard to get it to where it is today, and I don't want to just be another person that calls them at renewal every year. So I think, for me personally, I think one of the value adds needs to be, being there regularly, staying relevant, keeping up to date with what they're doing, to make them feel like you're a part of their business, and them feel like you're a part of their business, so that they know that you understand it, you understand the complexities that come with it, the ins and outs. You can provide the appropriate advice to them about what they need, because businesses are changing a lot, particularly in the environment that we are now. Like, people are trying to adapt and evolve and, introduce new aspects to their business left, right, and center, because it's just the world that we're in. And they sometimes don't think about how that can be impactful from an insurance perspective. So I think it's really important to stay relevant, so that they know if those sorts of changes are happening, that they know to contact you, or you contact them to say, what's happening over at your end, keep me up to date. I think that's definitely one of the key bonuses. And obviously, like clients that have had claims and stuff like that, I think it's important for us as the broker to be supporting clients in that journey as much as possible, like taking that load off them. It can be an incredibly stressful process. It can mean that their businesses do or die in some instances. So it's important to be there to reassure them that, all's good, we're going to get it covered, we'll get the business back up and running, all that sort of stuff. Otherwise, they just end up on, on call center logs for hours at end, and no one's helping them or understanding them or talking to them, and it's just a nightmare in an already sticky situation that they shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. What's been the toughest moment in your career?
The toughest moment. The toughest moment. It's funny, like I don't know if it's the toughest moment, but it's probably a tough moment. My most recent non-win, but finalist as a Young Broker of the Year. As much as I'm incredibly thankful to be a finalist, I'm going to be super honest and say that not winning was really tough for me. And I think it also came down to, the imposter syndrome, and I wanted the win to reassure myself that I deserve it. And it sounds silly because at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm a finalist. I'm so thankful for that. I deserve that. Whether I win or don't win, I deserve that too. I know I've worked hard for it, but yeah, the little voice likes to get inside my head and tell me that because you didn't win, you didn't do good enough, sort of thing. So I think that was tough. I took it as a little bit of a personal hit at the time, but upon reflection, it's just part of the process, part of the journey, and you use it to go on to bigger and better things. So that was a challenge then, but yeah, I'm all good now.
That's good. How did you push through that?
How did I push through it? I had a big night. No, again, it was like lots of, all the people around me cheering me on, being my biggest supporters, and reassuring me that regardless of the outcome, I'm super deserving and should be super grateful for where I am, which I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Very deserving. We'll reinforce it for you now.
Thank you.
No worries. So something's quite topical right now. There is a lot of stats out there saying that 30% of the aging workforce is set to retire in the next 5 years, and there's not a designated pool of talent coming into the industry to replace all of these professionals which are going to be exiting the industry. Do you have any thoughts on what can be done to help backfill an aging workforce?
I think I saw your post on LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday, about the whole people saying that they fell into the industry. If you noticed, I was trying to make sure I didn't say I fell in at the start.
Yeah. If you noticed, I changed the intro as well.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, how they entered the industry definitely came from, a bit of word of mouth. A lot of new business that brokers get is typically from a referral or something like that. I think there needs to be more positive conversations about our industry, and how rewarding it is, the challenge that it gives us, the opportunity it gives us to grow. No one really likes to talk about insurance, and that's reality, right? It's not the greatest topic to talk about. And it puts a bit of a sour taste in some people's mouths. Someone could have just had a bad car accident one day and their claim didn't go so great, and so they've got this bad perspective of insurance and the insurance world, but not necessarily looking at things from a career and insurance perspective. So I think a lot of the drive to get people into our industry needs to come from the way that we show how much we love it, and the way we refer people to the industry that we've all been in. You even hear stories of people that leave the industry and they always come back because they can see how rewarding it is, and how much they love it. And there just needs to be more topic and more conversation around that aspect of things, and not around the negativity that comes with insurance. So yeah, I think it's, again, not that easy. It's not like you can just, we go out to schools and stuff like that and try to draw attention to people coming out of school. But again, they see the sign that says insurance and they're like, nah, I'll go to the next stall. So you can do that. But as to whether it's going to get anywhere, maybe a little bit here and there, but probably not so much. So yeah, I think it needs to be about topics, conversations, changing that sort of conversation to be more positive rather than negative. Sure.
For sure. Yeah, agree with you. I think that's a really, really nice way to wrap up this episode. So thank you. I just want to reinforce again, congratulations on the nomination for the shortlist for the award this year.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you taking the time to be a guest on our little series here, and looking forward to seeing what's next with Stella and you for 2025. Thanks, Rachael.
Sure. Same goes to you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. A big thank you to our guest, and we hope you found some value from this episode's chat. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to send it to a mate and hit follow so you don't miss what's next. I'm Nathan Anning, Director and Insurance Recruiter at Impact Talent Australia. Catch you next time.